And good morning and welcome to the VSA Capital 5-Minute Morning Miner. It's Thursday, the 11th of August. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be up in Kendal near the Lake District, but seeing a company called James Cropper. Unfortunately, yesterday there was an RNS saying the CEO had resigned with immediate effect. So I'm here. There's no point going. No CEO. Very strange. Anyway, to the listeners' benefit, maybe. Paul, how are you this morning?
I'm all right. You just wanted to stay here in the heat. That's what it was.
Actually say it, but I'll tell you what, it was a lovely cool wind this morning as I cycled in at 6 o'clock this morning. So it's not that bad yet, but maybe it'll heat up during the day.
All right.
Anyway, there you go. What I can tell you is my hot tub has not been heating for ages, and it's still running at 25 degrees, which is really rather amazing. Anyway, probably shouldn't be talking about hot tubs and that sort of thing when there's a water shortage. Let's move quickly on. Actually, rather disappointing interims from Antofagasta, weren't there today?
Yes, that's right. They're struggling here with these interims here that they released, sharply lower compared to year-on-year numbers. Revenue was $2.5 billion US, down almost 30% from the same period in 2021 because of lower copper sales volumes and lower copper prices for them as well. Profit before tax fell by $1.1 billion to just $680 million in comparison to the year prior in 2021. Cash flows are down. Capital expenditure, according to their guidance, they're about 44% through their full year estimate that they made at the beginning of the year. Earnings per share came in at 26 cents, which is down by 41 cents. And the interim dividend was declared at 9.2 cents per share. Otherwise, a lot of other information in there in the press release, like net cash costs at $1.82 a pound, compared to what was just $1.14 a pound a year ago. And full year production guidance is stated at 640 to 660,000 tons of copper metal. And I haven't taken enough time in order to see whether or not that's a change from what was given at the beginning of the year, but it wouldn't surprise me if it is because of the issues they are facing.
So what's gone wrong with copper, Paul? I mean, it's one of those commodities that everyone said, there's not enough supply, demand's going to go through the roof. And I mean, the copper price has been just so weak all year.
I would have to disagree with that myself. Copper price this morning, I looked $3.65 a pound. If we were really weak in the copper sector, I would say that we would be looking at numbers much closer to $3 a pound at this stage, given the outlook for recession around the world. So I'm not discouraged by this. This is just a correction, in my opinion, as opposed to a fundamental change in the copper outlook.
Yeah, but mid 2021, we got up to nearly $5 a pound.
Yes, and we'll have to restore that place too, particularly with the rise in cash costs across operations, because otherwise there just isn't enough profit margin in order to develop new supply.
So you're a bull of copper?
I'm a bull on copper, yep.
Good for camel. Anyway, right, well, that's Antofagasta. Now, to another one we had this morning, we had some interim results out of Caledonia Mining, the Zimbabwe gold mining company. Most of the activity here, actually, in terms of trading, seems to be done in the US. But anyway, tell us what you think, Paul.
Well, it's a real contrast with Antofagasta's numbers. Caledonia Mining, their numbers are all on the upside here. 20,000 ounces produced in the quarter, which is 20% higher than in Q2 of 2021. And it's also a new production record for any quarter, 38,600 ounces produced in the first half, and that's almost 30% higher than a year ago. Gross revenues up to $37 million for a rise of 23.4%, and profit up to $18 million or a 28% increase. All-in sustaining costs only changed by 3% or so because of the better production numbers, able to offset to a great degree some of these price increases on supplies and fuel. Total dividend paid 14 cents on the quarter, and they have declared a further dividend of 14 cents going forward here for this quarter.
Yeah, I must admit, it's interesting. I've been speaking to a few mining companies in Zimbabwe, and they all seem to be doing really rather well. There's obviously a lot of, quite a lot of lithium goes on there. Lithium and gold is very popular in Zimbabwe. But again, Caledonian Mining as a stock, has not really performed, has it?
The stock, otherwise, because it is based in Zimbabwe, has always suffered from a discount for geopolitical or perceived geopolitical risk, which, in my opinion, from a performance basis, has been completely unjustified given their actual performance of many years now.
As you say, it's actually going really well and generating a lot of cash. I wonder whether there's a bit of corporate activity is required there.
Well, they did do a deal this quarter here to pick up this Bilbo's project here, which is a good size 27 million ton deposit of 2.3 grams gold. So that will change as it's developed, will change the production profile for Caledonia.
I was thinking more somebody going into them rather than the other way around, Paul, because the stock looks cheap. I'll have to go and talk to one of their non-execs, Nick Clark, when I'm next down in Cornwall. He lives in Falmouth. Anyway, no need to talk about that. Let's also talk a little bit. One of your favorite areas is diamonds, and we had Lucara diamond interims.
Yes, we did. Lucara gave out their interims as well. Rough diamond market fundamentals they're encouraged by, but I have to say that the following rough prices here, since June, the price has been deteriorating in the rough market. So these numbers that you see reflected here probably a little bit past tense as opposed to what we'll see in the coming quarter. Revenue from sales came in at $52 million on the 3 months and $120 million on the 6-month period. They have the direct sales outlet too. They call Clara for large high value stones, and that showed improvement as well, 9.4 million in sales there. In compared to the 8.3 million in the prior quarter. Cash position at 41 million, and they have been spending money here as they work to convert the Karowe mine from open pit to underground development over the next several quarters here. Produced 86,000 carats in the quarter, which was quite or about 20% down actually from a year ago, and the average grade is a little bit lower at 12 carats per 100 tons.
Okay, and actually maybe with Artemis Resources, which the punters play around in quite a lot, they've been suspended, but they've now managed to get their drill results out, I think, Paul, and they're going to be trading again. What's that all about?
Yeah, what that was is they had incomplete drilling results yesterday that they had released, and they felt that it was or whether it was the regulator that flagged it for them or just their own dissatisfaction with the results that they could disclose yesterday. They suspended the share trading until they could get these results out today. And this Carlo Castle thing I followed for several years now. It's a cobalt gold project, shear zone and vein hosted in West Australia. And it's surprisingly good to me, I would say, because of its grades in gold and cobalt, but also showing up with some nice copper now in individual intercepts, like 9 meters at 1.2% copper, 2 grams gold, 0.05% cobalt, or 8 meters at 2.5% copper, 0.24 gold, and 0.86% cobalt. So obviously they'll be continuing to drill this thing because I think it's surprising them as far as the continuity of mineralization is concerned.
Cobalt, I mean, it was obviously hugely in demand, so to speak, but it will be very quiet as a marketplace, isn't it?
It's gone more quiet, I would say, because of the concerns around so much of cobalt having to be sourced from the DRC and the ESG concerns around whether that the cobalt supply is compliant. About 15% of the world market in cobalt is artisanal mining, so there's a lot of concern as to working conditions and whether there's child labor involved and things like that. So anywhere that high grade cobalt can be worked up in other jurisdictions that don't have those concerns, like Jervois Global's project in Idaho, which is coming toward production shortly, or this one, the Carlo Castle deposit in Australia, which has no cobalt production. Those are keenly being followed.
Well, it's opened up 14% this morning, but bear in mind it has actually just doubled basically during August. So I think most of it is probably now in the price, and it's back to basically where it was when it came to the London market, certainly at the beginning of the year. Okay, I think that's enough, Paul. We've done plenty of time there. We'll love you and leave you, as they say. But there is a lot more activity in the market now. The market is coming back to life. We'll speak again tomorrow.
Very good. See you then.